So as you guys probably know, Agent D is coming to the game very soon alongside the new event. So as usual, we will be doing a pre-release analysis to see if she is potentially a good character and if she is a character that you should be going for. With that being said, I do want to mention that if you want to go for Agent D because you like her design, maybe you like her voice actor, or for whatever reason outside of meta, then feel free to do so. This video is for those who are concerned about character performance. And as a side note, I am aware that her name is D, but that will just make a lot of things get taken out of context, so I'll be referring to her as Agent D throughout this video. With that being said, we can now get started with her basic information. She is a burst type 3 attacker who uses an SMG. She also has the wind element and she is part of the Elysian line of units. Agent D is actually a pretty interesting character because unlike the usual DPS character that only has abilities that amplify their own personal damage, Agent D actually has a few passives that also apply to her allies. So in a way, she's kind of like a mini support despite being classified as an attacker. First up, we have Vigorous Waves. Activates when entering full burst, increasing damage as strong element and recovers attack damage as HP. There is also a second effect that is triggered when the skill is first activated, basically giving Agent D more lifesteal that also has a 15-second duration just like the other two effects. The HP recovery is okay, but it's only really useful during the first activation. You get around 20% of your attack as HP with the second passive, but without it, you only get 3.52%. So that's quite a big drop off in scaling just after using it one time. But with that being said, this can be useful in stages where the enemy starts off with high amounts of damage, because the healing skill is good enough to let Agent D recover some of her HP without necessarily depending on a healer unit. The other effect will increase her damage by 46.93%, but only against iron type enemies. I'm not exactly sure about the formula for this additional damage, but if it's anything like the additional elemental damage from overload gear, then this can potentially be very strong. Next up, we have Surprise Attack. It will almost instantly charge up your burst meter when the target first appears, and this activates once per battle. Additionally, your whole team will be immune to stuns for 19 seconds. Obviously, this is meant to counter the first attack in the Modernia boss fight. Agent D will actually be the first character to be able to charge the team's burst gauge using an ability, so this means that you will need less attacks to reach full burst mode. I'm not exactly sure if this will also trigger in the PvP arena, so we'll just have to see once it gets released. On the other hand, the stun immunity is basically just a safety net for when you're not able to break Modernia's core before she does her laser attack. This can also be useful outside of the Modernia boss fight because the instant burst gauge effect is actually really nice. Although I can't think of many situations where you would need the stun immunity right off the bat, so because of that, I don't think that this will be good outside of boss fights, especially if your team already has pretty good energy generation. Let's not forget about the second effect, which is basically the same as her skill 1 because it also increases damage as strong element. Overall, pretty good stuff. Moving on to Agent D's burst. It has a 40-second cooldown, it deals a small amount of damage to all of your enemies, and all of your attacker units will be doing more damage to enemy parts. On top of that, this will increase the full burst time by 5 seconds if Agent D has stun immunity. This can be good if you don't have a dedicated unit for breaking boss parts, but if let's say that you already have Laplace, then I don't really see why you would use Agent D's burst over Laplace. Looking at her kit overall, it's obvious that she is meant to deal with the Modernia boss fight. She is an SMG user, she also has the wind element, which happens to be Modernia's weakness, and she has a lot of skill effects that directly counter Modernia's mechanics. But with that being said, there's also a few more things that I want to mention. For one, Modernia is one of the easier bosses in the special interception. So depending on how long you have been playing the game, you might already have invested in the proper team that can clear Modernia with no problems. So if that's the case that you can already beat Modernia, then you probably don't need to go for Agent D. You can maybe consider pulling for her if you are in a more competitive union, because Modernia will eventually appear as a raid boss again, so having another unit that specializes in that fight will come in handy. But aside from that, I feel like she is more of a comfort pick than anything else. She is good at what she does, which is beating Modernia, but I don't think that she will be a must-have for this fight like Litter or Laplace. Not to mention that compared to these two characters, Agent D is way less flexible, basically just useful for stages with iron type bosses. One more thing you need to consider is that the half-year anniversary is coming up very soon. And from what I've seen from other gacha games, they usually have special event shops or even special banners during this time. So definitely be on the lookout for that before you spend your gems on any upcoming banner. With that being said, that's about everything I have for Agent D. I will probably be doing 20 or 30 pulls just to see if I can snipe her, but I won't really stress about it if I don't end up getting her. Also, if anything changes on her release, or if my thoughts about her change, I'll probably make a follow-up video. But other than that, let me know what you think about this character. And as always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.